So about the technology, uh, I think, in my opinion, technology can be integrated mainly through cell phone applications because nowadays the vast majority of people have access to a cell phone. But we also have virtual reality and the artificial intelligence, which are two incredible tools if used correctly with good planning. The problem is the more advanced the technology, the more it requires investment and training. But I believe in the integration of applications for cell phones. That's it. And Ricardo, how about you?
Well, I would like to insist in the same challenge. I believe that sometimes a specific person is working as a teacher. It's not a teacher, it's just working as a teacher. But another kind of person love this profession and love a specific subject, maths, I don't know. And when do you love something so much, I don't know, it's cause it sounds like a disease because uh, a virus will got in the classroom and all of the people receive the same virus. So and the I don't know, this some kind of person, some specific person. It's not so much, unfortunately, but you could uh, transfer this passion for another person. Sometimes you don't take this thing for all the life. You choose another path in the future. But for example, I remember yet my first teacher, and I bring the teacher in my heart until today. And they are not just one, not another two. No? So I believe in this power. But specifically about the technology, yeah, I believe that when a person have passion and love this thing, this person could integrate all of tools, old tools and new tools, up to date. So, for example, Jefferson mentioned about economic. So I can't wonder a person work on this field and don't use any kind of tool, for example, Excel. So Power BI or something is really important because it's part of our reality. uh, And sometimes the teacher on the class talk about a lot of things, and the sometimes it's important, but it's not so, how do you say, definitely is not so a thing that's so useful that you possible to uh, live take for your life. So in the sometimes uh, the, is a challenge is the time is not enough time to teach all the stuffs, but there are specific things and is so useful in your life, in your professional life, or doesn't matter. So in this case, the teachers have to focus on this specific thing or tool. It doesn't matter. Uh, that's it. In this case, could you choose another one? And I'm sorry, I have a problem. I face a problem, and it's not possible to transmit on the YouTube at the beginning, but right now, welcome aboard my people on YouTube. And well, let me choose number 5, guys. Please, Malu, could you answer the question number 5. What role does personalized learning play in modern education approach?
I think it's just like the previous question. I think it's to catch the students' attention as we are in a really tech world right now, and that's it. I think it personalizes the approach, the the strategy to students these days. I think that's it, to mostly catch their attention.
Yeah. And you, Thierry, please go ahead, my friend.
I agree with Malu. The more personalized learning we can do in a class, we can catch the interest of the students, because one of the difficulties is teaching something that the students don't care about it. So if we personalize the learning, we can catch this attention. For me, it's a very good strategy. And how about you, Edilton?
Okay. My answer is some teachers is becoming famous in social media or using the strategy to make videos with play with the classmates and the students, and is be became effective because the people like it and be interested in that subject. It's very common in TikTok. Some professors going to the market about something to use to play games in the class. So this modern approach using the technologies and apps is become the main strategy for some years in future. Next, Jefferson.
That's the point. It depends on the size of the class. If you have a class with 5 or 10 students, it's okay.
Yeah.
The personalized learning plays a significant role in modern education approach, because you can tailor the instruction to meet the unique needs of the guys, the interests, the styles of each student. In theory, it's okay. It's so nice, but in reality, today it's impossible. It's impossible to do this. So the answer, it's very complicated. As I said, if you have a depend of the size of the class. But I try to not to have personalized learning. But as I said, in group of 3 or 4 guys, and I try. And even in this group, we can see one or two good and one or two bad. Sometimes this occur, unfortunately. Sometimes the 4 is too good, but it's not the reality. So it's very complicated to answer this question. But I try to differentiate my instruction. I try to have a student-centered learner activity. I'm not the most important guy of the class. For me, the most important are the students, and I try to use technology based adaptive about learning. As I said, platform I use a lot, uh, Banco Central, IBGE, Ambima, and so on, to improve the knowledge.
Yeah. Well, it's there are teachers uh, have a style, old fashion style and continue just use whiteboards. So yeah, I believe that the most important thing is the knowledge and how to try to pass this message for the students, certainly. But I believe that sometimes you have to accept some conditions. Nowadays, sometimes it's necessary to try to catch the attention from the students, but it's normal. The particular kids is hard to uh, try to catch the attention from particular kids, and some tools like Edilton told, videos and other stuffs. The kids and the students normally love this kind of tool, and so sometimes as I told you, it's necessary to accept and try to introduce this kind of videos or another stuffs into the classroom to try to let the environment more attractive for this person. So that's it. So let me try to answer the number 7. Uh, in what ways do socioeconomic factors impact access to quality education? Yeah, unfortunately, countries like Brazil, that's weird sometimes, because Brazil is not exactly a poor country. Well, I believe that's the 9th place on the richest of the world country. So, but sometimes it's not so equal. The money is just in some parts and not all the country. But well, sometimes it's not so hard to build some conditions. For example, it's necessary a safe place, clean, teachers receiving good salaries. Uh, it's not exactly like, for example, building a hospital because it's so expensive. So particular, sometimes a good strategy could be construct building a hospital, specific hospitals, for example, cardiologists or another stuff, because in these places just necessary to pay for a salary for cardiologists. But the most part of the time, the people wanted to building a hospital, for example, have multitasks, multi disease. So in this case, it's necessary to pay 3 or 4 cardiologists and another subject. So in this case, became harder, became expensive. But about the education, particular in Brazil, because sometimes it's so nice when you watch a movie and there is a huge structure that are you could practice Olympic sports or all kind of sports, because sports is a very very important tool for the kids, because sometimes is wonderful to relax sometimes, and sometimes discover a talent, a talented person. So, and yeah, I believe that is necessary to invest not so much money, because in my opinion, is not so expensive. Particularly because if you invest more money in education, you could invest less money, for example, in health, because sometimes the people don't wash their hands. So, or for example, less money in the security, because when the person receive education, normally this person is less violent. So, well, that's it. And you, Malu?
It's a bit of what you said, and I think it affects everything because, like in transportation, in structure, access to good teachers, there are people that have double journeys, they have to study and to work. So it affects everything, but it's just like you said, Ricardo, your answer was really good. I just complimented something.
Thank you. Into Thierry.
As we mentioned it before, it is difficult to focus on studies when we have more essential concerns in our daily lives. People who are hungry, sick, or experiencing any other more serious problem will not be able to learn satisfactorily.
Yeah, okay.
Jefferson, about you, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with all of you. The social economic factors have a profound, but very profound impact on access to quality education. As you told, imagine a guy from a low income family, all the barriers, such inadequate resources like internet and even food or other things, and limits education's opportunities. It's not so easy, but as Ricardo said, I'm remember now Tabat Amaral, né? It's a poor guy from a favela from São Paulo, and she had the opportunity to study in four university in the United States, just study in one, the best of the world, and now he's a politician, no problem, but it's very interesting about how she breaks these barriers about limited education opportunity, and so it's so good. And just to finish, I think sometimes is, as Malus said, is unstable. You have no money. You have insufficient support system from the government. So how can you improve? How can you achieve? How can you correct these gaps? How can you work with this kind of disparities in academic performance? So it's not so easy. But as a professional, you need to try to change this reality.
Yeah. And now, last not the least, Edilton, please.
Okay, I agree with all of the answers, and I will simply add that education is a project for a long term. Some countries use that strategy to build projects for decades. China is a good example of that.
Yeah.
Of the process of technological innovation, education is for 50 years in several areas. And our country needs to have a government with political compromise with this strategy. We need to think in terms like a century. What Brazil will need to build for in 2100? What Brazil does not wish to have in that century? I believe with this strategy, I can build a country with a good education for the people.
Yeah. Yeah. South Korea and China, I don't know, the 80 ages, around 8, the PIB per capita is less than Brazil, né? in the I don't know 30 years, invest money in education, transform the country, né? So not just about the quality of the service, but about all the place, because as you told, education led to the things better. For example, about safe, about sometimes, I invest a lot of money in the security, né? When you invest money, that's a problem in Brazil because how I could say we could receive uh, good security services right now, because if you don't have good security service today, it's not possible to receive health and the other stuffs because you're not alive. So this case is very good and important, because education take more time. It's necessary, I don't know, 10 years to notice the reflections. So, well, we don't have enough time to answer then one more question, I believe. But if you try to answer briefly, that's okay. Number 9, how can teachers adapt to their teaching styles to accommodate diverse learning needs if a classroom? That's important topic. As I told him, don't have enough time to answer, but this kind of situation is always occurs in the past too. No? A specific kids needs different approaches because they have difference, and it's important to notice, particular not so just for teachers, but all the support, psychologists and all these important professions. And you, Malu?
This is a really tough question.
Yeah.
But I think, first of all, schools, universities, they need to offer, I don't know, lectures, some things like that, to teach their teachers how to adapt their teaching to diverse people, because each people needs a different approach, a different strategy, and it's really hard to personalize to everyone. So I think, first of all, is schools and universities give some education to these teachers to how to adapt their teaching. I think that's the first thing. But it's really hard to answer this because I think there are many ways to do this, but I'm not specialized on this, so I can't go really deep on this subject. But I think that's the first step.
And Thierry?
It's quite difficult. It's really difficult. Perhaps the key is to have a lot of patience and perseverance to try different ideas on a daily basis until you find something that works in that class. And each class is different. It's very difficult question.
Yeah,